We've received quite a bit of interest in my free to be workshop. So to that effect, beneath this video is a link that will give you a description for the workshop. And we've also included a special discount. So if that's something you would be interested in, I would invite you to click that link, and I hope that you would find the course to be quite beneficial. I want you to consider today a phenomenon that happens in every relationship that you are involved in, whether it's you meeting someone in a brand new kind of way, or if it's someone that you've known for a long time, and that is we pick up on cues from one another. We're sizing each other up. You know, are you someone that I can talk with on a personal level? Do I need to be kind of careful about you? You know, you have that person that's like, you know how that individual gets, so I've got to be kind of gingerly around this person. When you're in an interaction with the narcissist, that very thing, of course, is happening in that relationship. And I want you to be aware that it's not just you that's doing that towards them. That narcissist is checking you out. Now, it can be on a conscious or a subconscious level, but that narcissist is thinking, what's going on inside of you, and how can I use that to my advantage? You see, let's understand that narcissists are users. They're manipulators and they're exploiters, and they're looking for all sorts of inroads that they can get into so that they can have their needs met. And they're looking to think, are you somebody that can become fuel to my soul? That's how they think. For example, as they're interacting with you, again, conscious or unconscious, they're thinking, are you somebody that's going to let me dominate you? I'd like to know that. Or, are you someone that needs to be taught a lesson? And sometimes, many times they think in those kind of terms. Or, how can I manipulate you? And how can I get you to give me what I want? And they're going to gauge to see if you're somebody that would cooperate with them there. Or, how sure, or maybe not, are you with respect to your own sense of direction and initiative? Or, what does it take to break you down? You may come across as sure, but how can I get you to start trembling or wilting some in the way that you interact with me? Or what am I going to do with you when you go against my will? How far can I push in that respect? Or another question they love to ask themselves is, how gullible are you? And I want you to realize that these individuals are thinking those kinds of thoughts about you so that they can kind of gain a measure as to whether you're going to be their fuel tank or not. There are 10 different things that I want you to watch for that may happen from yourself toward them that might inadvertently let them know, yes, I will give some fuel to you. I'll be part of your supply. And as you're aware of these kind of things, I'm hoping it can allow you to pause and rethink, do I need to really be this way? Because I don't really need to be giving someone fuel who's going to turn around and use it against me. Number one, in terms of things that they might look for in you, is you may be the kind of person that doesn't really speak plainly and openly about who you are and what your plans are. I recall speaking with one woman who was talking about a member of her extended family who is very opinionated and very overbearing. And her thing is, well, I don't want to say anything that's going to make him upset. I'm thinking, well, what if you just said, this is what I believe, or this is what I'm going to do? And she looked at me like, oh, what a genius. Because she was so accustomed to having to be cautious and calculated that she had lost her ability to speak plainly. Are you the kind of person that does not speak plainly? If that's the case, narcissists pick up on that. It's like, well, good, I'll go into that space then. Or number two, it could be that you constantly feel like you're supposed to appease that other individual, that narcissistic person. And when you go into high appeasement mode and it's obvious that you'll do anything or say anything to keep them in a good mood, and over time they pick up on it, what they interpret it as is good. You see me as being the top dog here. Let's keep that up. That's how it's supposed to be. And they run with it. Or number three, it may be that you're the kind of person that feels like you have to justify your choices or your actions. You know, once you do speak up and then the narcissist comes along with an I don't know kind of reaction to you, You try to over-explain yourself and give rationalizations about why it's okay for you to do this. And I mean, it may be something really simple like how you manage your schedule or why you made a decision in your interactions with someone else. And it's like, why am I having to explain myself so much? The more you do, the more the narcissist is thinking, okay, you're trying to get my favor, aren't you? I like it. That's the way it ought to be. Or number 4. As that narcissist is trying to engage to see if you're going to give them fuel, it may be that you're the kind of person that just goes to your place of tension and anxiety way too quickly. Now, if that's the case, and you just kind of have a nervousness about yourself as you speak with that individual, it could be that the narcissist is thinking, oh, good, you're weak. This is an opportunity for me because I like hanging out with weak people. I like hanging with people who get tense and anxious because that means when I come off as strong and opinionated, you'll collapse and you'll crumble pretty quickly. Good to know. Or a 5th thing that they may watch for that allows them to think that they can see you as being their fuel. And that is they notice that when you're in public, you do a really good job of covering up dysfunctions. It's like, well, public opinion and having the proper image is so important to you. And I understand you can't just go around and tell everybody in public all the things that are wrong. But if you're the kind of person that really has to be right and be known correctly, the public image is everything to them. So they're thinking, oh, good, I like being around someone like that. So that way, if there's junk between you and me, you're not going to go around and be sullen. You'll be part of my cover up. I like that. I like that a lot. Or a 6th thing that narcissists might pick up on, and that is you're easily motivated by guilt. You know, how many times do you portray yourself as overly negative when something has happened? And it may be something that happened yesterday or maybe something that happened 20 years ago where you're too apologetic or you don't seem to forgive yourself very easily. You kind of have this attitude that seems like you have to work off your demerits that are on your record. The narcissist picks up on that. And it's like, oh, easily motivated by guilt. I can make that work for me. I like that. And it feeds their soul when they know that about you. Or a 7th thing that they can pick up on is you may argue, but in the end, your assertions are weak. Now, you may be loud and abrasive and all like that when narcissists come on and they're controlling or condemning or condescending kind of ways. But in the end, they know, your bark is louder than your bite and you don't really have good consequences. And so it's like, yeah, argue all you want. They love to argue back anyway because they like the competition, gives them that much more reason to say, I need to squash you. That can be something that they pick up on. Or an 8th thing. When they pick up on the fact that your moods can be way too easily dependent upon other people. You know, they notice that even though you may have a desire to be one way and have your inner sense of calmness and all, but other individuals, when they come along, can get you off course. It's like, those are the kind of people I like, people that are too dependent because I want you to depend on me. And they won't admit that they're dependent on you in reverse. But when you don't have that sense of inner independence, they interpret that as good. You don't have inner resolve to build upon. I can work with that. That's the way they think. Or number 9, it could be that you're often in a bad mood. And you may think that becomes fuel for their soul. It's like, yeah, because they take that as permission to treat you dirty anyway. Well, she's always in a crummy mood, or he's always mad at someone. And if you're sullen or you're easily annoyed or you're prickly, it's like, well, you need somebody to shut you down. You need somebody to tell you what to do. And so they'll just take your bad mood and your chronic irritability as a reason for them to be the dominant partner. Strange how that works, but that's how they think. Or how about number 10? And that is, when you're trying to come to terms with differences between you and that narcissist, you may be the kind of person that asks questions, but you don't really make declarations. Now, what I mean by that is you can say, why do you have to talk to me in that tone of voice? Or don't you understand that I had this going on? And why can't you just work with me and coordinate? You're asking questions, and they can go all day long with all sorts of justifications, and typically it'll be something that will immediately invalidate you and shut you down, and that's fuel for their soul. as opposed to you making declarations. Here's who I am, this is what I believe, and then you stick with it. They like the person to just ask those perpetual questions because that feeds their narcissistic bent. Again, I'm going to go back and underscore. Narcissists are on the prowl. They're constantly gauging you and trying to figure out who are you and how strongly can I gain an inroad into your life. And I'm hoping that you can decide, I don't want to provide fuel for that manipulative, exploitive person. So there are a couple of thoughts that I want to close with here today. And that is, I'm hoping that as you pick up on a person's strong narcissistic bent, you can drop your outside-in approach toward problem solving. Now, what do I mean by that? When I say outside-in, the outside-in thinker has convinced themselves, if I can get you people out there to act correctly, and if I can get you people out there to understand me, then my inside is going to be okay. Instead, let's take an inside-out approach. I'm going to have an inside that says, I'm okay with me. And I can have my firmness, and I can have my calmness, and I can have my deliberations and my independence. And if you out there don't understand that, then I don't take my cues from you. I'm an inside out. My inside determines what I'm going to do out there, not the other way around. What that means then is you can have a sense of firmness and directiveness, and it doesn't have to be mean, but it's something that you hold on to, and you don't feel the need to justify who you are. Being you is quite sufficient. So when the narcissist either says or implies, here's what you need to do, or I have spotted something on the inside of you that's going to make me feel good, I'm hoping that you'll be able to respond, whether openly or just within yourself. I'm going to be the one that decides that. I don't exist to feed your needs. I'm not going to fill your tank. My job is to be the healthiest me that I know to be. Now, I hope that you can have an awareness of this in such a way that allows you to be on Team Healthy. And if you want to stay on Team Healthy with you, maybe you can subscribe to our channel and we'll help you out with that. And we'll keep more videos coming your way. In addition, if you want to sign up for our email list, we have promotions and things of that nature that you'll find to be quite beneficial. If you have a need for counseling and you want to unpack this with someone, I would encourage you, if there's someone in your area, that you would do so. If you don't have that possibility, we have an online service that's a sponsor for us. We have a link below that would take you to that, and there are good people that would be there that could help you out in that regard. In addition, I've put together this very large workshop called Free to Be, and it has many different kinds of things to help you understand how to respond to the controllers in your life and how they think the way they do and how you respond. And that might be something you would want to look into. And we have a link below, and I think we can get you a good discount if you go through that link. And then in addition, we have our books and other kinds of things below. We have our websites, survivingnarcissism.tv, drlescarter.com, lots of resources. I'm hoping that you realize that narcissists are looking for someone they can manipulate, and I'm also hoping you can say, and I'm not going to be one of them. Be true to yourself and be aware of how you come across in a way that says, I'm comfortable with me, and I'm going to let the goodness and the decency of my personality be my ultimate argument for me just being a firm and a determined kind of a person. Be someone that stands for what you are, and if they agree with you, wonderful, and if they don't, be true to who you are.